In the distant land of Mome, dragon princes rule over the population. It would be a foolish army that marched on that region, as the dragons enjoy their comfortable situation there and wish it to continue for as long as possible. But not all dragons feel the same way. It seems there is one, or perhaps some, who loathe the situation with every scale on their body. The tranquility many enjoy in this realm is not universal, as undercurrents of discord simmer among certain factions. These dragons, perhaps driven by envy or a deeper, darker ambition, look upon the peace with contempt, plotting and scheming to reshape Mome to their liking. I don't know exactly who is responsible for the subject of today's video. Still, I do wonder if the source of the mysterious plague that forced the dragons to leave the Great Mountain Ranges and arrive in Mome is the same as the very strange and powerful new form of draconic lycanthropy, starting to spread more and more each month. This plague, seemingly crafted with precision and forethought, hints at a mastermind with extensive knowledge of draconic biology and dark magic. Its effects are as terrifying as they are mystifying, casting a shadow over the land and its inhabitants. It would seem that some dragon, and I feel in my bones that this must be the work of a powerful black dragon, has discovered a way to inflict a lycanthropic curse on its own kobold minions. This draconic architect of calamity has not only managed to harness the lycanthropic curse, but has also refined it, targeting beings with a specific resonance to draconic essence. This curse afflicts kobolds, urds, spell scales, dragonborn and draconians, twisting them into more formidable, loyal servants. Even some sorcerers of various races whose magic draw upon the ancient power of dragonkind have fallen victim to this curse. However, true dragons, including those who spend a significant amount of time in humanoid form, are not vulnerable to the curse for whatever reason. This peculiar immunity suggests that the curse was designed with a certain selectivity, perhaps to preserve the purity of true draconic bloodlines or safeguard against potential dragon-born adversaries. This is the best clue to the curse's origin as draconic. Its selective nature hints at deep-seated intentions that may reshape our understanding of dragon politics. Time, I am sure, will reveal its source eventually. I have written letters to the elves of Narbeth, who dwell within the great wildwood of Shalhund, seeking their insights. With their long-standing ties to mystical forces in ancient lore, the elves might have a better idea of what is going on there, or perhaps they sense the unsettling changes that this curse brings. But as of now, I've yet to receive a reply. The situation paints a grim picture of a land where not even the mighty dragon lords can shield themselves from the creeping tendrils of dark magic. As this new form of draconic lycanthropy takes hold, spreading its curse with alarming speed and ferocity, the very fabric of order in Mome is threatened. Those affected gain terrifying powers, turning into beings that blend the ferocity of the draconic heritage with the ruthless cunning of the kobold. The implications of such transformations are vast and deeply concerning, as they suggest a level of premeditation and malice that could herald a new era of darkness for Mome, and perhaps beyond. The emergence of the draconic lycanthropy is a chilling development in the annals of magical diseases known throughout the realms. The curse is insidiously selective. It must have required intricate knowledge and malevolent intent harbored by its creator. This is why I deeply suspect a black dragon as its origin. It is well known among scholars of dragonkind that the black dragons are compulsively cruel and taken to murdering even their own minions. So performing vile and torturous experiments on them is nothing short of commonplace, I'm sorry to say. The draconic essence that binds the races susceptible to this affliction also ties them to the ancient and majestic lineage of dragons, a lineage now marred by an affliction that transforms its bearers into monstrous hybrids of their former selves. It was some months ago that I happened to hear of a visiting scholar from the distant land of Mulhurund, far to the east of Candlekeep and the Sword Coast. I hurried to find a member of the Avowed and obtain permission to read the text the scholar had submitted for entrance payment, and was delighted at first to learn it was detailing events occurring in the dragon princedoms of Mome. But as I read it, my delight faded extremely quickly. The journal diligently related the sorry fate of a dragonborn eldritch knight known as Srask Catharin. When a player character Dragonborn like Srask Catharin is afflicted with the Werekobold curse, their physiology and abilities undergo several significant changes, reflecting the draconic nature of the curse. This transformation abilities include gaining the capacity to morph into a hybrid form, which blends their inherent draconic features with those of a kobold. In this hybrid form, the Dragonborn can, through an action, polymorph into a draconic kobold hybrid, retaining their size and racial abilities while gaining the natural armor and attack capabilities typical of a Werekobold. The natural armor in this form elevates their armor class to 15, and they appear considerably more feral, with thicker, more pronounced scales and spines, often with a prominent dorsal or spine ridge. Regarding offensive capabilities, the Dragonborn gains a much more formidable bite attack, using proficiency and strength bonus to hit and inflicting 1d6 plus their strength bonus and piercing damage. They also gain a brutal claw attack that has the same hit bonus but does 1d8 plus their strength bonus and slashing damage. I've heard rumours since I read the Scholar's Journal that some of who are bitten directly by a cursed Erd, the winged kobold subbreed, may also sprout wings in their hybrid form, but the wings are fairly useless, only really good for slowing a fall enough for it not to kill on impact. The curse also brings behavioural and physical changes, including subtle features reminiscent of a kobold, such as slightly sharper teeth and longer claws, even in their normal form. Furthermore, they gain the Pack Tactics trait in regular and hybrid form, providing an advantage on attack rolls against a creature if at least one of their allies is within 5 feet of the creature and the ally isn't incapacitated. They also gain an enhanced sense of smell, giving them advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on smell. However, the Dragonborn remains deeply afflicted by the draconic curse, only able to spread the Werekobold curse to other draconic humanoids or those with dragon essence or blood, such as certain sorcerers or warlocks with long-term pacts with dragons. The curse's resilience to cures is also very notable. Only a wish spell or similar powerful magic can lift it, highlighting its deep integration with the Dragonborn's draconic heritage. The psychological effects of the curse are profound as the Dragonborn grapples with the duality of their nature, torn between their noble heritage and the survivalist instincts of the kobold. This internal conflict can lead to a significant social stigma if their condition is revealed, especially among other Dragonborn who see this affliction as a mark of dishonor or corruption. The curse may also enhance the Dragonborn's deference towards dragons, particularly evil ones, compelling them to serve these mighty creatures with increased fervor. The example of Srask Catharin vividly illustrates the transformative and tumultuous journey of a Dragonborn afflicted by the Werekobold curse. The Dungeon Master overseeing such a narrative should portray the transformation as a physical and psychological metamorphosis, emphasizing the struggle to control their new abilities and impulses, particularly under stress or in the presence of dragons. Over time, the character might learn to harness these abilities while wrestling with the implications of their altered state, potentially making their curse a central plot point that influences their interactions, alliances, and personal growth throughout the campaign. The Werekobolds, born from the dark experiments, are tragic victims in this situation, really. No matter what your opinion of the creatures, I wouldn't wish this fate on anyone. These creatures retain deference to dragons but manifest a heightened ferocity and cunning, making them far more formidable than their unafflicted kin. The stat block for a Werekobold shows them as small kobolds with a lawful evil alignment. They have a natural armor class of an average of 15 and an average of 27 hit points. They're nimble with a speed of 30 feet and possess a balance of mixed abilities, including a strength of 10, dexterity 16, constitution of 14, coupled with lower intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores. Their capabilities in stealth and perception are enhanced with +7 in stealth and +2 in perception, with a natural proficiency in the common language and draconic languages. The shape changer trait allows them to morph into a draconic hybrid or revert to their more feeble appearing true kobold form, but maintain their armor class across both forms. They also have an acute sense of smell, which gives them advantage on perception based on smell, and their pack tactics gives them a strategic edge in combat. The draconic affliction, lycanthropy, means that this curse only applies to victims with draconic heritage or strong degrees of draconic essence. For the scholars of the curse, I do apologise for using the word lycanthropy a lot. I know that specifically refers to werewolves rather than werekobolds, but in the realms it's more common to practice to refer to them as skinwalkers or nightwalkers, or simply werebeasts. In combat, werekobolds are tactical and vicious. They can execute multi-attack in their draconic hybrid form using their bite and claws. I won't bore you with all the game mechanics for now. Understanding the full scope of the draconic lycanthropy, from its origins to its effects on individuals like Strask and the broader implications for the communities it touches, is crucial for all scholars between here and the Dragon Princedoms, as well as far to the east in the lands of Karatur or deep to the south in Sakara. This is a potentially world-changing event, and I am sure that Dragons of Good Nature will greatly appreciate our help in providing as much information, investigation and accurate reporting of it as we can manage. I know many have grown accustomed to a world where the dragons have lived in forced social distancing from each other for so many centuries, thanks to the Dragon Rage mythal. But I must stress that this time is over. The dragons once more are showing signs of unity, and that unity is being contested viciously by other factions within dragonkind, whatever form that takes in the end. I say it is only in our long-term best interest to recognize that not all dragons are the same. They can work with us, and we must work with them. Otherwise, I'm sure we will end up buried under their new empire, rather than being a valued part of it. The curse's profound impact on the ecological and social structures of Mome cannot be overstated. Kobolds, once hidden and dispersed communities, have found themselves thrust into the spotlight of draconic politics, their affliction making them pawns in a much larger game of power. Spellscales and Dragonborn, typically proud of their heritage, face existential questions and fears about their place in the world as their essence becomes a liability against an unseen, accursed threat. The politics of Mome are in turmoil as alliances shift and ancient pacts are questioned. Dragons, once the undisputed rulers, find their authority challenged not just by external threats but from within their own ranks now, as the cursed beings might be used as soldiers or assassins against rival factions. This instability is a fertile ground for intrigue and betrayal as power-hungry dragons and their minions maneuver for advantage. In this ever-increasing hotbed of hostility, increasingly desperate and reckless tactics are likely to be employed with disastrous long-term repercussions. Meanwhile, the broader realm watches with wary eyes. Neighbouring lands prepare for the possibility that the curse could spread beyond the borders of Mome, threatening to destabilise the region. Trade routes are closely monitored, and travellers are scrutinised for any signs of the affliction, leading to tensions and xenophobia against dragonkin species. Already, the ancient nations of the East were very wary of the Dragonborn now displaced there from the world of Abir. This is just going to make them more isolationist and militant. Traits that saw them survive in a world dominated by dragons and elemental lords were starting to relax a bit. Still now, I fear, they will not seek help from other races due to the hostility and suspicion they face just getting worse and worse. As the accounts of Strask Catharin and others like him begin to reach me here at Candlekeep through journals delivered by scholars seeking entrance to the Great Library from all over the realms, it becomes increasingly concerning how fast and how far such a curse can spread. I'm curious about how powerful this curse must be in infecting species that are normally quite resistant to such magic. For Strask, the curse must be both a horrible burden and a supreme test of his will and character. I wonder if any of us could imagine what it must be like facing not just the inflicted transformation, but also the imposed mental control that makes them feel compulsive subservience to dragons, which I'm quite aware many Dragonborn loathe from the historical and contemporary mistreatment of the Dragonborn race. For the Dungeon Masters guiding such narratives, the Werekobold core curse offers a rich vein of story potential. It can serve as the central theme of a campaign or as a complex background for character development. Encounters can be designed to challenge the players physically and force them into moral quandaries, where the right choice is as elusive as the cure for the curse. Campaigns may explore the origins of the curse in greater detail, leading players on quests to ancient ruins, forbidden libraries, and into the dragon's lairs. They might seek alliances with the elves of Narbeth or other magical beings who could hold the key to understanding or curing the draconic lycanthropy. Along the way, they would uncover secrets about the true nature of the curse, its creator, and perhaps even ways to weaponize it against their enemies, adding layers of moral complexity to the adventures. As the narrative deepens, the characters' actions could have lasting impacts on the world around them. Their decisions might determine the fate of Shrask and countless others afflicted by the curse. Will they find a way to reverse the curse, or will they see the draconic lycanthropes as necessary warriors in the coming battles? The struggle against the Werekobold curse could very well define the future of Mome, and potentially all lands that fall under the shadow of dragons. The emergence of the Werekobold curse in the land of Mome serves as a dark mirror reflecting the fears and ambitions of a society grappling with change and the unknown. It challenges the characters to look beyond their prejudices and fears, find strength and unity, and confront the darkness around them and within themselves. The saga of those touched by this curse, like Shrask Catharin, becomes a testament to the enduring spirit that even in the face of monstrous transformation, the core of one's identity can prevail, offering hope and a path forward in a world that seems increasingly mired in shadows and turmoil. My name is AJ Pickett. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of homebrew fun and find use for it in your own game worlds. The game stats for the Werekobold template and the stats for Shrask Catharin are included in this article both on my Patreon page and in the exclusive channel members and patrons section on my Discord server. Link to join the server is in the video description below. Thanks for listening, and as always, I'll be back with more for you very soon.